things working here that shouldn't be working for some reason. I'm just going to have to kill a few screens. There we go. Good evening and welcome to Parish News. I'm sorry it's a bit haphazard this evening. We have had some technical issues because the thing with these computer software people is they decide to update things without too much notice. And therefore, we knew that YouTube were about to update the way that they deal with their broadcast, but they suddenly changed it overnight last night. So when I came to set things up today, we found that things didn't work in the normal way. But I think we fixed it. So hopefully those of you that normally join us on YouTube, we were a bit worried that you might not be able to, but hopefully you are with us. And I do apologise if there's been any confusion. Things hopefully will work a little bit better in the future due to the new way that YouTube is dealing with broadcasts. So we'll start with some local news tonight. Dorchester Hospital have been given planning permission for the new multi-storey car park for staff and patients. And this is part of the overall plan to expand the emergency department and intensive care unit and to establish a new integrated care hub. So that is good news. You remember in previous week we said about that the planning application was in and that it was about to be determined. So that's good news that we've heard this week. But also, of course, in terms of health, unfortunately, the incidence of coronavirus are increasing. The daily UK positive test rate is 4,422 people today, which is back to the levels it was in March when we were hit by the first wave of the pandemic. There are 17 new confirmed cases in the Dorset Council area in the last 7 days, and that's a rate of 8.2 cases per 100,000 of population. Now, when we compare that with the England average rate of 34.1 per 100,000 of population, that shows that luckily things are still very, very low in the Dorset Council area. However, each week it is increasing, and nationally it is increasing at double the rate each time the statistics come out. So the latest news that we've heard in the last 24 hours is that the government are considering some form of lockdown for a number of weeks in October to see whether they can stem this growth rate. So we all watch that with interest. From the point of view of our services like our parish news service, our quiz and our live streaming of services, we will continue. We're well versed now in how to do this during coronavirus and during lockdowns, and if the church building gets shut down like it was before, we will go back to the way we were live streaming services before. So whatever happens, we will be there at all the usual times each week to deliver what we've been delivering for you. However, that I would say to you, and I will reinforce this at the end of the programme, as individual members of the public, we can do a lot to stem the growth of this virus. We can cover our faces when we have to. We can keep our distance from people, and good old-fashioned hand washing. These are the things that are going to keep us safe. In other local news this week, we've learned of the death of former Weymouth councillor Andy Hutchins, who I'm sure will be familiar to a lot of you. Andy served for over 20 years on the local council and was an alderman of the town. Talking of health, Andy was a very keen interest in health issues and services to the local community, and other interests included local transport and trains. And he was always, I found him always very friendly and welcoming to people, and I'm sure he'll be missed by friends and the communities he served. This week I've also heard of a couple of pet-related stories, one involving some puppies left in a car locally, and even though the summer is over, and it's not quite as hot as it was at the peak of the summer. Of course, if pets are left in cars with windows shut, then the temperature does go up rapidly. It's a bit like a greenhouse. So please, if you've got pets and you're taking dogs out for walks, please don't leave them shut in your cars. Also this week, not locally but not too far away in Studland, we've heard of a dog bitten by an adder whilst walking out on Studland, and it resulted in quite a nasty injury for the dog, and actually their head swelled to almost twice its normal size. Whilst this was a story from Studland, just to remind you, we do get adders in the locality around Wyke and on Portland, and they can be found on grassland, heathland, and even sunning themselves on sandy paths. So just something to be wary of. Following on from our pet-related stories, the RSPCA has been overwhelmed this year by calls for help from people who are ill with COVID-19 and can't care for their pets anymore. The animal welfare charity has been swamped with 442,344 calls and responded to over 106,000 incidents of animals in need just between the 24th of March and the 5th of August. That's 790 incidents a day. Such a volume of need was especially challenging for them to meet as, like any charity, income was down and they had to furlough staff, and some staff were shielding as well. One of their spokesmen explained, as well as operating an emergency service rescuing animals in need, the RSPCA officers have also been collecting animals from homes of people who have been admitted to hospital with COVID-19 who may not have anyone else to care for them while they're being treated. The charity has now launched an emergency fundraising appeal and has said that its frontline animal rescue and care teams have been stretched to their limit. So it's not just the NHS and our ambulance and hospital service, it's those that care for our animals as well. And currently the RSPCA has around 6,400 animals that they are caring for in their centres in England and Wales, and obviously needing to feed them and have staff to look after them. So please do think of charities like the RSPCA at this time as well. You'll remember a few weeks ago, I think it was 2 weeks ago, I covered a local story, the fact that our local commercial radio station, Wessex FM, like 46 other local stations across the south, have been taken over and merged into something called Greatest Hits Radio, run by a company called Bayer. I mentioned how this was a sad time as Wessex and its staff have been great community supporters for many years, promoting and attending many local events and charity events across the area. I did say at the time that we were really lucky to have two truly local radio stations. That's Air FM and Keep 106. Both of you whom are community interest companies and run totally by volunteers, Air being in Weymouth and Keep 106 being in Dorchester. So yesterday I went off to Dorchester to see what I could find out about Keep 106. The Little Keep stands at the far end of the old parade ground opposite the Keep Museum in Dorchester. It originally served as the officers' quarters of the military barracks, but today it's the home of several organisations, including a local radio station, Keep 106, who on Friday afternoon this week I popped in to pay a visit.
Nothing like a bit of vintage rock and roll to start off a Friday afternoon, is it? Good afternoon. Welcome to Friday afternoon here on Keep 106. My name's Rob Mott. I'm here till 6 o'clock.
Your local radio with true community spirit.
This is Keep 106.
Well, good evening. Remember, a couple of weeks ago we covered a local story about the demise of Wessex FM and how that's affecting local radio provision. And at the time I mentioned the really good news that we're lucky in the Weymouth and Dorchester area to have two community stations, Air and Keep 106. And I'm really pleased to say I'm joining you today from Keep 106's studio, and I'm with Rob Mott, who's one of the directors and has been involved in local radio for, well, a long time, shall we say, previously with hospital radio. So I thought we'd have a word with Keep and see what they're doing for the community. So it's good to be with you, Rob.
Thank you.
And good to come to what actually is a fantastic local radio studio and not what I was expecting. Tell us a bit about the equipment. It looks like you've got state-of-the-art equipment and not what I was expecting.
Yeah, it's pretty much state-of-the-art. This is a digital studio. This desk is all digital. I can control all the sound inputs. I can bring them anywhere I want. I've got things like the news comes in on one channel. I've got a PC that I can record on. I've got a digital playout system that we use that plays all the music and all our jingles, as you heard just now. So they're all on panels, so I can press a button and just go.
With more music and memories, this is Keep 106.
So it makes my life nice and easy.
Absolutely. And it's really good that you're here providing a service to the community. And who do you see as your audience for Keep 106? Who are you aiming for?
In our licence bid, we aimed at the 50 plus audience, because at the time we had Erin Weymouth, which is up to 25, and then we've got Wessex FM we had 2 years ago, which was 25 to 45. So we went for the 50 plus audience, because there are a lot of retired people now being cared for in the community. People don't stay in the hospital for very long now. They might be having a nurse come in once a week. They might not see anyone else for the whole week. So we thought that was an important audience for a start. So anyone really living in our community, 50 plus, that's what we're aiming at.
And I've actually noticed through listening over the recent weeks that the range of different types of programme you have is quite phenomenal, from sort of what I call sort of quite old-fashioned programmes and old-fashioned presenters to some of the, right up to date. So there's something for everyone, isn't there? I mean, I think that's the
our
message.
Slogan. That's one of our slogans.
Yeah.
Literally, there's something for everyone. Yeah. We cover a whole range. For example, on Sunday evenings we have an organ show. Now, Radio 2 a year or two ago dropped their organ show, and Jim Davis, who presents the organ show, now has listeners from all over the UK and beyond, in actual fact, because there is no other weekly organ show being broadcast. And he's an organ enthusiast. He goes up to Bournemouth, to the Pavilion, where obviously there's a very old organ installed beneath the stage. He's quite an expert. So that was an important thing to do, part of community radio. We have a brass band programme, we have reggae, you name it. We try and fit in all the music genres. We're working on at the moment Northern Soul. We've got a gentleman who wants to do a Northern Soul specialist programme, and you'll notice all the specialist programmes tend to be on in the evenings.
Yeah. And I know one of the new things for you is a local news service as well, and I know it's in its infancy, but what's the sort of plans for the news feature on Keep 106?
Well, obviously it's quite a lot of work to introduce a news service, but we were very aware with the demise of Wessex FM that something needed to be done for local news content. Now, we've obviously got the Echo, but I mean that comes out a day after the news has been aired, really. We wanted something that was immediate. Now, my programme is a sort of magazine programme that does a lot of local current affairs, but we wanted something a bit more than that. So we've now introduced in the morning on the breakfast show and in the drive time show, which is 3 till 6 in the afternoon, we've introduced the local news. It's a bit patchy at the moment, not every day, because it takes a lot of putting together, but we're hoping to put a team of people together that will produce the news for us.
So I guess if people have got events and things happening or newsworthy things, you want to hear from them.
Absolutely, yeah. We have a What's on Diary.
What's on Diary. So if you've got an event happening or you're fundraising or there's a bit of local news, get in touch with Keep 106 because they want to hear.
Anything that's not for profit goes into the What's on Diary, and then all the presenters know to come and get the What's on Diary. I was a bit thin at the moment, obviously, with COVID-19. But what normally happens is we also put things like all the TIC promotions will go in there as well from Tourist Information West Dorset. So those go in there, and we read them out every day, 2 or 3 times a day at least. So if you've got a fair or a fete or whatever, as long as it's not for profit or a charitable event, we will publicise it for free.
Now, all of this doesn't happen with you alone, does it? I mean, it's there's a fantastic operation here that obviously relies on a lot of people giving a lot of time, a lot of volunteers. Have you got any needs? Are there people you're looking for, or what sort of opportunities are there for people that might want to volunteer and help Keep?
We're always looking for volunteers, and at the moment we're short of lady presenters, female presenters. We lost one recently because of work commitments and things, and she produced a weekly magazine show which is really sorely missed. We're also after people to work behind the scenes, really, man the office, help us with promotion, that sort of thing, because at the end of the day this is a business. Although we're set up as a not-for-profit business, a CIC, we've got to run this as a business. It costs us about £1,000 a month to run the radio station, which doesn't sound a lot really, does it?
No.
But when you've got to make £1,000 a month, it's a lot to keep generating.
Yeah. So if people want to get hold of you to volunteer, or if that lady presenter's out there who's dying to get on the air, how do they get hold of you?
Well, in the first instance, you can contact us via our website, which also carries a lot of local news as well. We'd like to think our website, and you've probably looked at it yourself, Gary, it's probably one of the best websites for any radio station in the area, without being big-headed. I think a lot of work, and one gentleman, Andy Fenton, the voice of the station actually, he does all the work on the website. So again, if you've got anything you want to contact us about or look at or about the station, the website's a good point of contact, which is www.keep106.com, simple as that.
Excellent. So remember that website, because not only can you get the information on the website, you can listen online on the website. You can listen on your Amazon Alexa, or you can tune in on your FM radio in the Dorchester area. And if you haven't given Keep 106 a listen, I strongly recommend it. I've certainly moved over since Wessex FM disappeared a few weeks ago, and it's a fantastic service, and they need your support and they need you to listen. And I'm sure we'll be back to see what they're up to sometime in the future.
Let's take a look at the weather then, shall we? Well, tonight, a dry night to follow with long clear spells. Remaining windy though, particularly along the coastal areas. Did you notice how windy it was last night? Whoa! Temperatures...
Your local radio with true community spirit.
This is Keep 106.
There we go. Well, there we go. It was great visiting Rob yesterday at Keep 106, and actually Rob's parents come from Wyke, so they're local people living in the heart of the community of White Regis here in Weymouth. There's around 25 volunteers that help run the station. I say they are all volunteers, they all give their time free of charge, and actually quite a lot of the people involved in Wessex FM who were doing this professionally are now giving their time free of charge to Keep 106 as well. So that's great news that some of those familiar voices will continue in the local community. As we said, they do have a complete range of programmes from classical to jazz, community focused stuff, as Rob said there, organ, brass band. So whatever your interests are, there is something there sometime during the week for you. And I think, we're lucky to have Air and Keep in the local community, particularly as the BBC and commercial stations are slowly pulling out. And hopefully I'll get a chance to visit Air sometime in the weeks ahead, and we can see what Air are up to as well. And don't forget, if you are that lady presenter that Keep 106 are looking for, either get in touch through their website, keep106.com, or drop me an email or a telephone call, and I'll put you in touch direct with Rob. You'll remember in previous weeks we've been talking about plastic waste and the environment and how it's damaging our environment. And there's now a growing concern from government and among campaigners and scientists over how coronavirus has sparked an increase in single-use plastics, where things are wrapped to keep them sort of safe and clean. Not only are millions of disposable masks and gloves now out there, there's been a huge increase in disposable cutlery, sachets and containers as well. Scientists warn that it could take up to 500 years for these polypropylene face masks, etc., to degrade. Meanwhile, according to some estimates, 129 billion masks and 65 billion plastic gloves are being used each month worldwide. What massive, massive numbers. So this week, Janet's been looking at the environment, the use of plastics, and how it's infecting our environment.
Do you remember how back in Lent we were concerned about the environment, and especially the use of plastic and the way it was ending up on our beaches and the countryside? We made an installation of a cross made up of rubbish that we had picked up along the beach. You may never have seen it, as it happens, because we went into lockdown the next week and the church was closed. Now, 6 months later, and the situation seems to be getting worse. Coronavirus has sparked off an increase in single-use plastic. Not only are there millions of disposable masks and gloves now, but there has been a huge increase in disposable cutlery, sachets and containers. With scientists warning that it could take up to 500 years for face masks to degrade, this would be a problem even if the plastics were disposed of responsibly. However, the whole thing is made much worse by the increase in litter recently, including plastic, which is ending up on our beaches. One of the places that has been badly hit recently and seen in the news is Durdledore. Here is Councillor Laura Miller from the West Purbeck ward to tell us about the problem.
Hi, my name's Councillor Laura Miller and I represent the West Purbeck ward. We've got Lolth Cove and Durdledore in our ward, myself and my co-ward member Peter Wharf, and this year, more than ever I think, we've had a significant challenge with our litter, both in terms of behaviour of people visiting and in terms of what we actually do to collect it, how we deal with it. The Lolth Estate have recently employed some more beach wardens, which have been really helpful. But some of the things we've been taking as volunteers off the beaches have been astonishing. You know, double mattresses, umbrellas, clothes. I don't know what people are wearing home, but predominantly baby wipes, nappies, plastics, and of course that's a significant ecological problem as well as a financial problem to clear it up. So what are we doing? Yeah, we're working alongside our partners in the Lolth Estate. They've launched their Respect, Protect, Collect, I think it is, or something very similar. And Dorset Council have launched Don't Be a Tosser in conjunction with our partners. Those two campaigns seem to be working. We'll see where we go next year, but hopefully I think education's the name of the game. Really with this, my youngest son is 8 and he's horrified at the idea of littering. The implications for wildlife alone are just, you know, disgusting, and we need to protect this beautiful part of the country. We need to educate people. Please come here, you know, you're very welcome, but please don't treat it like a rubbish bin. Take your rubbish home or put it in the actual bin, and hopefully next year our education campaign will really start to see a difference there. But I go out with volunteers regularly most days in the summer, and we really need to move to a point where, you know, people are visiting and enjoying and respecting our area.
Thank you very much, Laura. But of course it isn't only Durdledore that has been suffering. When I've walked through Nothe Gardens on my early morning walks this summer, I've had to pick my way through litter. To be fair, people have tried to put it in the bins, but we all know how the seagulls love to pull it out again, and often at their own cost. Look at some of the things I've seen as I've been walking this summer. Let's try and cut down on some of our plastic usage and deal with it responsibly when we have to use it. We could start by getting some of those lovely masks that they have in the fair trade shop and wash them instead of throwing them away after a single use. If we want to live in a beautiful place and share it with our wildlife, we have to start being responsible and take our litter home.
Well, there we go. Thank you very much, Janet, for that report and the message at the end in particular. You know, let's try and reduce plastics and litter if we can, but if we can't, let's make sure we dispose of it sensibly. And you know, most of this litter that we see around the place, actually there's no need for it at all. If people take it home or use the bins that are provided, then our environment will be much safer and much cleaner. Just an apology from me if you were getting a slight echo at the start of the programme on some of the video today. We did realise that we had a double feed on the audio, and my technician Thomas in the other room has managed to let me know that, and we have fixed it during that last video. So I do apologise if that spoilt your enjoyment for the first part of the programme. This week has seen the launch of a new campaign by Dorset and Somerset Air Ambulance. The air ambulance is something I know we are all glad is there for us when it's needed, and it's needed often in the most serious of accidents and illnesses. And yes, it's a charity and funded completely by voluntary donations. The Air Ambulance has started a new campaign, Save a Life Challenge. To kickstart the campaign, they were thrilled that local resident Maisie Sheridan from Weymouth, one of their young patients, has co-written and recorded a song called Flying Heroes. Maisie has attracted the help of local singer-songwriter Ed Hintz, who will be familiar to many of you, and with producer David Payne to create the song, and a local company, Harbour Media, to produce an accompanying video, which is officially launched this week. 4 years ago, Maisie was involved in a serious road traffic accident when she was hit by a camper van on her way to a dance class. The air ambulance team was called to her aid, and after being treated at the scene, she was airlifted to hospital. She was rushed into resus, where tests showed that she had fractured her skull, an eye socket, and she had a couple of lesions on her brain, as well as a number of other serious injuries. Maisie also lost a layer of skin from her face, and when she talks about it today, she simply says that she lost some of her freckles. The incident could well have changed Maisie's attitude on life for the worse. However, it's made her stronger and more determined to help others and to do what she can to support the Air Ambulance charity. Maisie's song, Flying Heroes, is available to stream and download for just 99 pence. Yeah, just 99 pence from all major music sites: Spotify, Amazon Music, iTunes, and Apple Music, with all the proceeds from streaming and digital sales being donated to Dorset and Somerset Air Ambulance for the period of 1 year. Maisie, now 15, has done an amazing job with the help of Ed Hintz and Harbour Media, and we're going to play you a short extract of her song and video now. Yes, we are only playing a short extract of the song and video. I'm not playing it in its entirety, because what I want you to do is to go online and buy a copy of this for just 99 pence and support Maisie's efforts and obviously the Dorset and Somerset Air Ambulance. But here we go. Here's a short extract for you.
Hello, my name's Maisie Sheridan. I'm 15 years old. On the 16th of September 2016, I was involved in a serious road traffic accident. The Dorset and Somerset Air Ambulance saved my life. I couldn't thank them enough. This is my song to show them how much they mean to me.
Friday afternoon, gained my independence for the first time. On our way to dance, laughing, having fun, just another day spent in the sunshine. Flying heroes, saviors in the sky. Flying heroes, saving lives up high. Flying heroes, rushing here with speed. Flying heroes in my hour of need. Flying heroes, saviors in the sky. Flying heroes, saving lives up high.
Do donate via Maisie's website or the Dorset and Somerset Ambulance website. Remember that they're always there for us in our hour of need. Well done, Maisie. Really good song, really good video, and I really do hope that you'll support Maisie's fundraising efforts. It's just 99 pence. It's not a lot of money, but if everybody spends 99 pence, it does keep that helicopter out there flying for all of us. If you didn't catch the website, just please go to the Dorset and Somerset Air Ambulance website, where you'll find a page that you can donate on and a link to how to download Maisie's song. You remember a few weeks ago that we mentioned it was the 400th anniversary of the voyage of the Mayflower. Well, this week we've heard about the new Mayflower that's been built and is going to go on a voyage across the same route that the Mayflower itself followed all those years ago. Following 2 years of design, construction and training of its artificial intelligence, the new fully autonomous trimaran has been lifted into the water off Plymouth this week. It's designed to provide a safe, flexible and low-cost, effective way of gathering data about our oceans. The new generation Mayflower promises to transform oceanography by working in tandem with scientists and other autonomous vessels to help understand critical issues such as global warming, microplastic pollution, and marine mammal conservation. ProMare, which is a company, is coordinating the scientific studies working with IBM Research, IBM being the big computer company, and a number of leading scientific organisations. The modern Mayflower features an artificial intelligence captain built by ProMare and IBM developers, which, given the boat's ability to sense, think and make decisions at sea with no human captain on board or crew. Able to scan the horizon for possible hazards, make informed decisions and change its course based on a fusion of live data, the Mayflower autonomous ship has more in common with a modern bank than its 17th century namesake. That's what Andy Stafford-Clark, Chief Technology Officer at IBM UK and Ireland, said. He also said, with its ability to keep running in the face of most challenging conditions, this small ship is a microcosm for every aspiring 21st century business. We're going to see a little bit of video about the modern Mayflower now. So there we go. There's a bit about the modern Mayflower autonomous ship. To enable followers around the world to stay updated with the Mayflower as it undertakes its various missions, IBM and ProMare have launched a new interactive web portal, mas400.com. Remember that, mas400.com, as in Mayflower Automated Ship 400. The portal even features a 7-armed stowaway octopus chatbot called Artie, which we saw in the video, who claims to be hitching a ride on the ship. Powered by IBM Watson Assistant technology and created in partnership with European startup Chatbot Bay, Artie has been trained to provide information about Mayflower and its adventures in a lively and accessible format. So the website will be available and appropriate for children as well as adults and scientists who will be interested in what's happening. The website is designed to get people engaged with the project. The project managers say protecting the ocean depends on our ability to engage the public in important matters affecting its health. And this MAS 400 portal is designed to do exactly that and tell people where the ship is, what speed it's travelling at, what conditions it's operating in, and what science they are conducting. Users can even help Artie the octopus fish out surgical masks, cigarette butts, and other increasingly common forms of ocean litter from a virtual ocean of facts and data. Why not follow the new Mayflower and what it's up to, and let's learn a bit more about our oceans? I certainly will be. So let's get back to some local news now. The food bank at St Edmunds remains very busy and a great service to the local community. They're still currently in their first weeks of trialling a new arrangement being part of the Weymouth Food Bank Hub, with several other food banks working together across the town. The St Edmunds Food Bank will continue to operate as a separate distribution point and still needs your support. This week in particular, the appeal is for toilet rolls, tinned fruit and vegetables, tinned soup, pasta sauces, and tinned meat meals, beans and sausages in a tin, that sort of thing. But please, no pasta. They have an awful amount of pasta and there's no need for that currently. The food bank continues to distribute from St Edmund's Church on a Thursday morning between 10:30 and 12:30, and that's also the time that you can drop donations off as well if you've got them. In other local events this week, there's a one-day only event tomorrow celebrating the history of Weymouth taking place at the Knowth Fort. The Weymouth and Portland Heritage Roadshow will feature a number of stalls, activities, tours and games celebrating the past of the town. The event will cover the history of Weymouth from the days of the Tudors to the Georgians, detailing the history of the town throughout the two World Wars, the Cold War and right up to the present day. In attendance will be representatives from Portland Museum, Weymouth Museum, the D-Day Museum, Radipole Gardens, Tudor House, the Old Town Hall, St George's Church, the Thomas Fowell Buxton Society and many more. If you're free tomorrow, why not pop along and have a look and see what's going on. For more information, pop along to the Knowth Fort website at knowthfort.org.uk. I thought this week we'd also introduce some new local information. So looking ahead to the week ahead, and first of all I thought we'd look at the weather and what weather is planned for the coming week. Certainly if you watch programmes like Countryfile on the BBC, they always cover weather for the week ahead. So looking at the week ahead, it looks as if the weather will be good through to Wednesday, with the weather becoming more cloudy, cooler and a little more unsettled from Wednesday onwards, and the possibility of showers from Wednesday until Saturday. It does look as if it's going to improve next weekend, with Sunday in particular looking to be a very nice day. If you're out and about in the car this week, there's roadworks underway on Abbotsbury Road for gas main works until the 23rd of September, with delays expected. Also works alongside the carriageway on the Wyke Road, and this is due to works happening on the Rodwell Trail near to the junction with Boot Hill, which may cause some traffic issues at times. And also there are electrical works underway on the Portland Beach Road at the Portland end near the junction with Lidl's, which may also cause delays at times. There's currently no planned works on South West trains or Great Western trains affecting the routes out of Weymouth. So we're coming towards the end of the programme this week. You may remember that I was going to cover a bit on Glastonbury this week, but actually you can see we've had quite a packed programme and there's just not time to fit it in this week, but hopefully we'll be able to slot it in next week. Don't forget this week, if you'd like to join us for our quiz, that's on at 7:30 this evening and it's open to all. There's services this week in All Saints Church at 9:30 tomorrow, 5 p.m. on Tuesday evening for evening prayer and 10:30 in All Saints Church for said Holy Communion. And don't forget that our Sunday 9:30 a.m. service is our live stream service for those who are unable to attend for any reason. I thought before we finish tonight, and bearing in mind that the coronavirus situation is sort of upping its occurrence yet again, that as a reminder I would run the latest NHS video reminding us how to stay safe before we finish this evening.
As winter approaches, we'll be spending more time indoors. This will increase the risk of coronavirus spreading. The following reconstructions of everyday environments show why washing hands regularly, wearing a face covering, and keeping at least 2 meters apart is vital in controlling the spread. Coronavirus can live for more than 24 hours indoors. You could pick up or pass on the virus by touching a contaminated surface. Washing your hands with soap and water or using hand sanitizer regularly throughout the day will reduce the risk of catching or passing it on. Coronavirus can be found in tiny droplets coming out of your nose and mouth. Wearing a face covering over your nose and mouth reduces the spread of droplets carrying the virus. This means if you have it, you're less likely to pass it on to others. Larger droplets can land on other people or on surfaces they touch. Spreading the virus through droplets is most likely to happen when you are less than 2 meters apart. Smaller droplets, called aerosols, can stay in the air for some time, especially if there is no ventilation. So when you are with people not from your household, you must keep at least 2 meters apart. The risk of spreading the virus through smaller droplets is much less outdoors, where there is more ventilation. Wash your hands, cover your face, make space. These are the 3 most effective ways we can all control the spread of the virus. Remember, if you have any coronavirus symptoms, high temperature, a new continuous cough, or a loss or change in your sense of taste or smell, get a free test by calling 119 or visiting nhs.uk. Together, we will control the virus and stop the spread. Don't forget, hands, face, space.
There we go. I thought that was a very clever little video that explains things quite well with the ultraviolet light and that. So I hope you didn't mind me sharing that with you this evening. One of the other features we haven't had tonight was the birthdays, and that's because, yet again, nobody's birthday or nobody shared their birthday with me. So if it is your birthday this week and it hasn't been shared with us, I hope you do have a happy birthday, or if you're celebrating a wedding anniversary or anything else. But please don't forget, this is your programme, so if you've got any local news, you're organising a local event, or you have something special coming up that you want to share with the local community, or if you've got an anniversary or a birthday, we want to hear from you. The contact details are up there on the screen. There we go, up above me. Gary@parishofwhitecregies.org.uk or telephone 01305 778169. We want to hear from you. This is your programme. We want you to let us know what's happening. So that brings this week's programme to an end, and I'll say good night, and I look forward to joining you again next Saturday at 6 p.m.